Hey guys, Travis Gillespie here, and in the last couple of videos, we've been learning about arithmetic sequences, and actually looked at finding the nth term. And in fact, this last time was pretty cool. We found a value, found out that there's a formula, and it allows you to find any term far off into the future if you have an arithmetic sequence. Cool. So let's move forward from here and let's actually take a look at, I'm going to move over to the left again. I notice my border's missing some, so fix that. And let's move back to the left. I'm going to work down in this small area here. And let me clean it up just a tad more. Awesome. So we're going to take a look at a real world example where you can see arithmetic sequences all around us. I mean, if you've ever been in a car, you'll probably notice this next one here. So if you've ever been in a car, you probably have seen, if your parents are driving, they have this thing called an odometer, and it allows you to see the speed of the car. I'm just going to do a couple of things here. The first thing I'm going to do is actually cut out the value that's given here and write one in its place. So our So again here, the odometer, it actually tells you the distance a car has traveled. And what I'm going to do is actually say, hey, this car has traveled, oh, let's say about 2,501 miles. 501 miles there. And every day, the car is driven for 30 miles. So what is the odometer going to read 26 days later? If it has traveled 2,501 miles so far, what will it be 26 days later? So the first step here is to determine whether this situation appears to be arithmetic. I'm just going to write what 26 days later, because it's a part of our problem. 26 days later, and on day one, it equals 2,501 miles. So, uh, well, actually, the odometer actually is reading an arithmetic sequence, and you know this because the problem I stated earlier, well, the car is driven 30 miles each day. So car is driven 30 miles each day. Cool. So now we got to go ahead and figure out um, some more information. I could tell you that this is driven 30 miles each day. Probably a better way to state it would be that, well, because on day one you start off with 2,501 miles, and each consecutive day after you add plus 30 miles to it. So if you do that each day and only add 30, well, there's a common difference there, and the common difference is 30, so you could say CD, or common difference is 30. Neat. So from here, the question is, what's the odometer going to read 26 days later? Well, since day one is 2,000 miles, 26 days later, since day one is the first term, 26 days later is actually the 27th term. And our starting term here is 2,501. Well, the next term in the sequence, and I could go through this to find out the 27th term, I could say, okay, well, 2,501 plus 30 would be 2,531. And then the next term after that would be 2,531 plus 30, which would be 2,561, and so on and so on and so on. I could keep finding this out, and that would take a while to calculate, or I could actually do something different, use this special formula that allows me to find the 27th term much faster as long as I have an arithmetic sequence. And I actually spelled sequence wrong. So I'm going to go grab that powerful formula again because I like to look at it and have it on screen when writing it up. And instead of writing it out, it'll probably just be faster to copy and paste it over. Cool stuff. So here it is on screen and have it down here. A sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. Now I'm going to just take a look at some of the facts again. And first fact that I know that I can write down is going to be, let's change colors here and use the green this time. Well, a sub 27 equals a sub 1, which is the mileage, the current mileage, which is 2,501, plus, well, n is going to be 27 minus 1 times d, and that difference is, remember, 30. I'm going to scroll down here, get us some more room. Let's actually just calculate this out. Well, 26 minus 27 minus 20, 27 minus 1 is 26 times 30 plus 2,501, and that actually equals, well, 30 times 26 is 780, so 2,501 plus, oh, 780, and 780 plus 2,501, that's going to give me a value of 3,281, and I box that as my answer. That equals a, oops, sub 27, or so. When x equals 27, y equals 3,281, or the odometer, since it was a real world example and read as a problem, I would write the odometer will actually read 3,281 miles in 26 days. Cool. So this would be my boxed answer here. And while I'm bordering this, just remember, you did this not actually by living through day by day calculating this. Um, well, you did it through a formula, noticing that, hey, there's a pattern here, and that pattern is, again, not living through day by day and calculating 26 times, but you found a pattern and said there is a common difference of 30. And that common difference is the pattern that allows you to say it's an arithmetic sequence. And the arithmetic sequence allows you to use this formula down here. And the formula allowed you to calculate it all within a couple of minutes. So arithmetic sequences are all around us. And once you see them, you can use this formula to find out what they're doing and the values that they take on as you go further out into the future, and I'll see you there. Cool stuff, guys.